Well, greetings, everyone. Good to be with you on yet another one of these wonderful days where we are seeking the wisdom of the ages. Welcome to Proverb Each Day. I'm your host, DJ Eshelman. Makes it sound so official, doesn't it? Uh, Obviously, I know that there are a small amount of people watching these, and that is actually something that is probably good for now, because really it's more about just me doing this as a habit than anything else, and so it's just using what comes naturally to me these days, and like a platform like this. And so glad you guys are watching with me, though. It really helps me know that there are that I'm able to expand that and have a not only a reason to do it, which helps me with accountability, but others are served as well, which is always a benefit. So I like it. So yeah, but yeah, yeah, we'll see how this goes. I had some thoughts this morning about one of these days running like an actual challenge where we get a lot more people actually uh, involved, and actually doing this. It's not going to be like next month. In fact, next month might have some challenges. We'll probably talk about that at the end of the video. But we we get started with a bit of prayer before we dive into Proverb 24. Father, thank you so much for today. Thank you for another day of what we can do for you to serve the rest of the world. And so, Father, we ask that you would bring us the feast of wisdom this morning, that we may eat our fill and that we may invest in that instead of other worldly things. Father, we ask that you would transform the words of my mouth and the words on the page to be understanding and wisdom for all of us. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Awesome. Well, let's get started, shall we? So, Proverb 24. To refresh, we're going through the section of 30 sayings of Solomon. Don't envy bad people. Don't even want to be around them. All they think about is causing a disturbance. All they talk about is making trouble. It takes wisdom to build a house, and understanding to set it on a firm foundation. It takes knowledge to furnish its rooms with fine furniture and beautiful draperies. It's better to be wise than strong. Intelligence outranks muscle any day. Strategic planning is the key to warfare. To win, you need a lot of good counsel. It's like a capstone statement. This is a lot of what we've seen. Kind of, you see a lot of repetition in just slightly different words and slightly different ways, which I think is important. That's a big reason why I'm doing this in multiple translations each month. I want us to get these sayings in different words, and so a lot of the stuff we've seen before. We've seen themes like this before, so it's good to have the reminder in a different context. Going to 22. Wise conversation is way over the head of fools. In a serious discussion, they haven't a clue. Let's highlight this. We'll come back. The person who's always cooking up some evil soon gets a reputation as a prince of rogues. Fools incubate sin. Cynics desecrate beauty. Yeah, so the thought about the wise conversation is way over the head of fools. I think this has been timely in my life. All these kind of things. It's my wife and I were talking the other day, and we're saying frustrating things like being frustrated at people like, how could they not get it? How is this possible? You do not understand this. How can you be a human being and not understand this? It's like that level of just out there-ness with a lot of the things that we're seeing going on. And what we what I kind of said was like there's no this is like a brainwashing kind of a thing that's happened at this point, and it's like trying to reason with them. They have to seek out the knowledge. They can, if they're spouting something, they're just bleh, it's wise conversation is just not going to happen. They're not wanting a conversation. They're wanting you to conform to their way. Period. End of list. And so, in terms of like, yeah, it's sometimes you have to stop and ask, do you want to have a discussion about this? And if they don't discuss it, they just start, that they say yes and they just keep spouting their thing and not listening to you. It's like, that's not what the conversation is. It's not a discussion. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do to kind of engage with that. But, often these days, I don't think I recommend it. I think there's other ways for people to be exposed to truth, and it's not our job to do it for them. Anyway, let's move on. Uh, Verse 10. If you fall to pieces in a crisis, there wasn't much to you in the first place. Rescue the perishing. Don't hesitate to step in and help. If you say, hey, that's none of my business, will that get you off the hook? Someone is watching you closely, Someone not impressed with weak excuses. Someone being God. Eat honey, dear child. It's good for you. Delicacies that melt in your mouth. Likewise, knowledge and wisdom for your soul. Get that, and your future's secured. Your hope is on solid rock. Honey. Don't interfere with good people's lives. Don't try to get the best of them. No matter how many times you trip them up, God-loyal people don't stay down long. Soon they're up on their feet. Well, sorry about that. Soon they're up on their feet, while the wicked end up flat on their faces. Don't laugh when your enemy falls. Don't gloat over his collapse. God might see and become very provoked, and then take pity on his plight. Even the church can be guilty of this. Yes. Don't bother your head with braggarts or wish you could succeed like the wicked. These people have no future at all. They're headed down a dead end street. Fear God, dear child, and respect your leaders. Don't be defiant or mutinous. Without warning, your life can turn upside down, and who knows how or when it might happen. That can be tough. Well, let's finish this up with some more sayings of the wise today. It's wrong, very wrong, to go along with injustice. Whoever whitewashes the wicked gets a black mark in the history books, but whoever exposes the wicked will be thanked and rewarded. An honest answer is like a warm hug. First playing, I think the hidden part of that is an honest but uncomfortable answer, and that is like a warm hug. It's better to be upfront with people. First plant your fields, then build your barn. Don't talk about your neighbors behind their backs. No slander or gossip, please. Don't say to anyone, I'll get you back for what you did to me. I'll make you pay for what you did. One day, I walked in by the field of an old lazybones, and then I passed by the vineyard of a slob. They were overgrown with weeds, thick with thistles. The fence is all broken down. I took a long look and pondered what I saw. The fields preached to me a sermon and I listened. A nap here, a nap there, a day off here, a day off there. Sit back, take it easy. You know what comes next? Just this. You can look forward to a dirt poor life with poverty as your permanent house guest. Tell you what, I am, now that we're settled in a new home, I am to that point of saying, okay, well, it's time to prep for what's next. And so that has been a theme on my mind, and why I think that was led to a time of fasting, which I am in the process of concluding. I'm in my final full day, basically. And I think for me, the like I said yesterday, a lot of times you have these burning questions, and last night I was confronted in it. I think did I talk about this or not? I can't remember, but I had some fears I was dealing with, um, and as far as like making an offer to people, and specifically to customers, potential customers, and how I have been avoiding that for years, and truly doing it. I mean, it's one thing to, put things available, like say for example, I have books that I've written; those are available. I have some online courses that help people that are available, but I don't sell them. If that makes sense, I don't actually do anything for that. I live in a fear of rejection that I was trying to figure out where that was coming from. I think I might have had an insight on that. There was a dream I had that was very confusing and weird, and it had to do with a person that I had become overly infatuated with, to the point of falling in love with. The problem was that she didn't feel the same way, and this was, not, well, it was midway through my life. Not move midway through my teens, I should say, and then into the later part of the teens, as it's kind of dragged on for a while, and it was tough to get through, and it's one of those things where it's just like it continued on and continued on, and I just got a very low confidence when it came to um, my interactions. As far as like I was very confident when it came to talking to them, and being around them, and being friendly, and being um, likable, I guess you could say. But when it came to actually asking for a relationship, or asking for the next step, that was something I always struggled with, and very rarely did anything of the sort. And so yeah, it's been interesting to have discovered that. And then, as it turns out, I was actually in my email inbox yesterday, and a thing popped up, and I was like, oh, has a person I haven't seen in a little while, that is doing an event, and or a little educational kind of thing, or like a um, webinar kind of thing. And it turned out that like midway through the thing, it was all talking about entrepreneurial stuff. He stops and says, I want to take a moment and pray against fear that we have. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Um, and so I think that has become my thing, and why I bring up this in context of, you know um, 2430 here, is that what it comes down to is me trying to take the easier path, and saying, I'm just going to take it easy, and I'm not going to challenge myself. I'm just going to just, you know, yeah, see what comes next or whatever. I just kind of, or I'll just get distracted and do something else. I'll just focus on something easy that I want to do that isn't necessarily moving anything forward. Actually, that was in a different video. Yesterday was crazy for me. Um, yeah, that was actually a second video by a guy named Myron Golden, who is fantastic. And yeah, he was saying, yeah, a lot of people just get distracted in their business and then start doing things they want to do instead of things they should be doing. And I'm talking business in a biblical setting, but that's appropriate in this case. And it really doesn't produce results. And so, so in other words, poverty becomes your permanent house guest when you're always looking for the easy path and um, taking days off, like I've been doing. And I have been taking a lot of time off. I've poked at work for a while, but these last few months, as far as doing anything that's actually, generating anything for my household, I have not been. I've been doing a lot of things. I mean, I've been doing some other things online. Some of you might have even seen them. And I'm building some things up, but I've come to realize it's like that's all fine and dandy, but I'm not really doing anything to, to plow the fields here. And so it is like me looking for the easy path. And so this has been very convicting of that. And this is the time of reset for all that. It's like that has been, we're going to work on that. That is the problem, not all these other things, all these other distractions. I call it being a squirrelpreneur. But that, leads to that laziness that I've been experiencing, and I need to fix that in my life. Yeah, I'm like being overly vulnerable in a public forum, but here we go. I appreciate it, the venue to talk about this and yeah. So anyway, that's where I'm at in my life. But as far as this for next month, I'm kind of thinking ahead a little bit, and there's going to be a period of the last part of September going into October that I will be in a different area, and so I may be shifting when these occur or how these occur. So these, yeah, this might be changing aspect a little bit. It may, yeah, we'll see what happens. But basically, I'm planning a kind of an extended trip home, which does present some challenges. Obviously, we're not going to have this full studio kind of a thing, but we're going to do what we can. I'm going to basically just literally get a new cell phone provider because the one I have right now just does not work out where my mother lives, and so I think that's literally going to be happening. So we're going to start working on that this week, and so we'll keep everybody posted and see if that works. But with that limits my platforms. So that means that I would only be able to do either a pre-recorded video that I'm sending out or only going live on Facebook. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to see if there's a way to just go live on Facebook and repost it to YouTube. We'll see what happens, but I'll keep you all posted on that. But I just want to let you know in advance we'll have a upcoming challenge, I guess you could say, with that. But nonetheless, we will plan on having something. And so I will just leave it at that. And so, all right. So in terms of that, I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Let me put this up on the screen again. There it is. Feel free to be with us tomorrow at my church. You can be either there in person if you're in Franklin, Tennessee, be great, or online. Our service is at 10 a.m. Central Time, and so I'd love to see you there or have you attend online. We usually, I say 10 a.m. Let's be honest. Sometimes we start on time. Sometimes we don't. Hang in there. If you're online, hang in there. It's been yeah. But anyway, the nice thing about that is that you get to see me play my bass guitar and be along with the band and all that kind of stuff, and then yeah, experience a little bit of what I experienced. It's always a fun thing to offer people. But also, you will have the oh well, actually, yeah, I'm gonna let that go. But anyway, I'll be there. So that means at 8:30, I'll be at band practice, and so I'm going to after we hang up here, I will be pre-recording tomorrow's and sending it off to you automatically at 8:30. So do make sure you are subscribed or whatever it looks like on the various platforms, but you have notifications so you can join me every day, 8:30. That's the plan. So I will see you tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Until then, be blessed by the best and be blessing to all the rest. See you later, everybody.